The offense returned to the Phillies' bats on Friday here at Bright House Field. The power returned as well in big, long-distance fashion. And the spring training smiles, well, they were splashed all around the complex. Over the course of time, these two teams have traveled quite well during spring training games, so expect a lot of Yankee fans coming down from Tampa to be here at Bright House Field to enjoy a little baseball with the young Philly fans, looking for an autograph, maybe looking for a photo. It's the first time of a handful of games between the Phils and the Yankees this afternoon here in Clearwater. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis. We'll talk to Greg Murphy in just a little bit. All right, so the big star for the Phils as things are evolving is Franco. Hurt last year. Some questions, how strong would he be coming into spring training this year? He's already answered a lot of those questions.
He has answered a lot of those questions, and I don't think the Phillies could be any happier with the progress that he's made in his short stint in the big leagues. We knew what he would do offensively, but defensively, I don't think we really expected him to be this good. Very strong, accurate arm, soft hands, and for a guy that doesn't have a tremendous amount of foot speed, he is quick laterally from side to side. He's doing a very, very good job with that leather at third base.
I know you've talked about this. You've compared him to Adrian Beltre of the Texas Rangers. Boy, if he can evolve into Adrian Beltre, not only defensively, but also offensively, the Phillies will be very happy moving forward.
It would be very, very happy. Adrian Beltre, in my mind, he's a Hall of Famer. But offensively, his first stint in the big leagues kind of really ho-hum. It wasn't that good, and I had some doubts. He wasn't able to get the pitches inside. Boy, has he turned that around in his second stint in the big leagues after going back to the minors. He's driving balls to all fields, getting extension through the baseball. I really, really like what I see. As long as he stays within himself, he's going to put up some numbers. The problem that the Phillies are going to have is, will he get enough protection behind him in order for him to see a lot of good pitches to hit?
Last year he finished with 14 home runs, 50 runs batted in, 22 doubles. Chris Bryant ran away with the Rookie of the Year award, but Franco had a chance before he went down with injuries, and we asked him about his development.
That's what I want to do every single day, just get better every single day, because that's what I have prepared to be ready for the season. So when I came in, I'm just taking everything that I can do serious, try to, like I said, take a ground ball again, try to be consistent, and that I've been doing, and that's what I've been doing so far. So I put a lot of work and just talk with my mind. I had to do that because it's going to be better every single day.
One of the other things that they'd like him to do, they'd like him to evolve into being a leader in the clubhouse and also on the field. Masahiro Tanaka, his first start of the spring against Charlie Morton, also his first start in a Phillies uniform. It's going to be a gorgeous day for baseball, and the Phillies hope that maybe it ends the way it ended the other day here at Bright House Field, with Cedric Hunter hitting a walk-off home run and getting wet with Greg Murphy after it was over. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. One deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota. Toyota's hybrid fleet is nothing short of a home run. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. By Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. There's really not even a spot out on the berm. The Yankees are in town as the Phils and the Yankees get together, both seeking their their third victory of the 2016 spring schedule. Well, it's a beautiful day, and I know it's a broken record all the time. There's a breeze going in from left center field. It's sort of crossing over a little bit, so we'll try to check out the trajectory of the baseball. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup for this afternoon's ball game. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Didi Gregorius leads it off at shortstop. Starlin Castro bats second. Chase Headley is the DH this afternoon. Dustin Ackley over from the Mariners last year is at first base. Gary Sanchez, one of the big Yankee prospects, is behind the plate. He'll bat fifth. Aaron Hicks sixth. In the bottom third, Rep Snyder starting at third for the first time. Lane Adams in left. And Slade Heathcott in center field. Well, that's Charlie Morton. The Phillies acquired him from the Pittsburgh Pirates this past offseason. We've told the story over the last couple of years how he tried to make his motion a lot like Roy Halladay's. And when he's on, Ben, he's a ground ball pitcher, and that's the key, is for him to be on.
It's a huge key for him, and when he's working down the zone, he does have good late movement on his fastball. He will induce a lot of ground balls, and hopefully that is something that he can do not only today but throughout the season. As we take a look at the scouting report, 90-96, changeup, curve, cutter. He's a four-pitch pitcher. He is from New Jersey, the great Garden State, Tom.
Great Garden State, man. Born in Flemington, went to high school up in Connecticut toward the end of his amateur days. Look how crowded this place is. I mean, it is packed. Did you leave any tickets today, Ben?
I did not.
All right. Joe Girardi, his team has won 2 games so far, 2-2. His 9th season. Boy, already 9 years as the manager of the New York Yankees. Part of your fraternity, Ben Davis.
That's right.
735 wins. Pete McCannon used to work for the Yankees organization as an advanced scout. So here we go. Didi Gregorius will lead things off. And the first pitch of the day from Charlie Morton. It's in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Gregorius last year hit .265 with 9 home runs for the Yankees. He took over shortstop from Derek Jeter. It's not the easiest task. Oh boy, Stassi really can field it over there, can he?
Move.
It is an excellent play on a ball that was not easy to handle.
It was a tricky hop. He was able to get to it, slide, and take it himself for the 3 unassisted putout.
Stassi making the start over first base today. Ryan Howard is still under the weather. He was sent home during the game that we did on Friday. There's been a bug that's been bouncing around the clubhouse. Here's Starlin Castro over from the Cubs organization. He'll play second base this year for the Yankees. Cubs made it to the postseason a year ago. And part of the reason why was because of Starlin Castro. They had a hole at second base. He's a shortstop by trade. They moved him over to second base, and he did a fantastic job, not only defensively, but also providing a little pop offensively. Here's Stassi again with Ruiz, and they both run out of room. No balls and 2 strikes. Good Carapazza is behind the plate. Tom Hallion's over at first. He's the crew chief. Eric Cooper at second. Dan Iasonia around at third. No balls, 2 strikes. To the left side. This will be a tough play. Galvis charges. Can't get it out right away, and still is able to throw him out. That turned out to be another excellent defensive play by the Phillies infield.
It was, and what I liked about it was he didn't panic. He still stayed under control. Starlin Castro, despite being a middle infielder, not the fleetest of foot, but Freddie gets to it, unable to find the grip, but does not panic. Still makes a good throw to Stassi over at first.
Well, that's been a big topic, Ben, has been Freddie Galvis' defense, and it's not anybody else that's bringing the conversation up. It was Freddie that was bringing the conversation up. He said last year, offensively, he was happy for the most part, but he was not pleased with his defense last year.
Well, that's a sign of maturity that he is showing on his part.
Outside to Chase Headley, it's 2 balls and no strikes.
bottom line is if you're playing up the middle, you have to make the fundamental plays. You just have to.
That one's pulled foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ball girl down the first base line was having a conversation with someone, so that ball blazed right by her coconut. You got to keep your eyes open here, Ben.
That you do, Tom.
That one's pulled foul. See, she was
Deemed herself. No matter where you're at on that field, the ball will find you, Tom.
Hands it to a youngster, a senior citizen youngster. Off the hands. What's he going to have to do, Ben?
Get a new one.
6-3 on the putout. Side is retired. 3 ground ball outs, and we'll head to the bottom of the first. Which they couldn't do yesterday. Let's take a look at Pete's lineup for today, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will challenge the way you experience TV. Hernandez, Galvis, and Herrera, followed by Michael Franco, Stassi, and Carlos Ruiz. In the bottom third, it's Cedric Hunter, David Lowe, and Andrew Knapp. They will face right here Masahiro Tanaka, who somehow has been able to pitch with that slight tear in his elbow, although he did have surgery this past offseason.
We were discussing that in the car yesterday, Tom. You and I don't know why he did not get the dreaded Tommy John, but he didn't. He's back pitching again.
Cesar Hernandez, the batter. He'll lead it off and take outside. Well, here's a scouting report on Masahiro Tanaka.
Well, 90-97, he will ramp it up a little bit. I think he'll pretty much sit at about 92 miles an hour. He's a 5-pitch pitcher, and he will throw anyone at any time.
Starlin Castro, and one away. Well, he has thrown a simulated game so far, and he's thrown a 61-pitch bullpen session. But this is his first outing since appearing in the postseason for the Yankees, and that loss to the Astros. Facing Freddie Galvis. Galvis 1 for 7 so far this spring. Fastball in there, and it's 0-1. Out of play, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. To the right side, and it's smothered by Ackley, and Tanaka's there to cover. 3-1 on the putout. 2 away. Guys are throwing some leather around here this afternoon.
They are. The 5 outs recorded in this game, all 5 have been via the ground ball. That's why it's so good for these pitchers to get ingrained in them. As soon as that ball's hit to the right side, just bust your tail to get over there just in case something like that happens.
Well, and for both of these pitchers, Yankee fans know this, and Philly fans are being introduced to this. For these 2 starters to be effective, the ball needs to be on the ground.
Yes.
Odubel Herrera will be the batter. 3 for 11 so far in the spring. Breaking ball, that drops in.
I know you've mentioned it twice already, Tom, but I don't remember this place ever having this many people at a ball game.
Usually if it's close to this, it's because the Yankees are in town. Tigers draw very well too. But it's also those years when the Phillies were in back-to-back World Series and won 5 straight division crowns. This place, particularly on the weekend, would be crowded. But, I mean, there's not a sliver.
It's amazing.
A thread of grass to be found out on the berm. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Both pitchers have comfortable first innings of work. We'll go to the second. Offense still in search at the first base row. Against the San Diego Padres, brought to you by Nemours and a Phillies commemorative opening day cap free to all fans. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. We start the top of the second. Charlie Morton goes to work, just 10 pitches in the first, and he delivers inside. It's 1-0. Dustin Ackley last year, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs combined. When he first came up with the Seattle Mariners, they thought he was going to be the second baseman of the future. Play a little outfield, playing first base here today. And the putout is recorded, 6-3. With one away, Gary Sanchez coming up. Well, Murph, the Yankees, like a lot of other teams, have gone through a little bit of a change from one end of the season to the next.
Well, yes, you're right. 'Tis the season, of course, for change as we start this 2016 baseball season. 87 wins for the New York Yankees a year ago. Good for that second place finish in the AL East. But as you mentioned, over the offseason, that is the time for some change. And you already talked about Starlin Castro arriving here from the Cubs. And Aroldis Chapman, of course, is here as well, coming over from Cincinnati. However, he'll serve that 30-game suspension to start the season this year. D'Onofrio, Hicks, Cosmo, some of the other new Yanks. Guys like Capuano and Drew, they are gone off that second-place team. So, yeah, just like every other team in Major League Baseball, some new faces in the New York Yankees pinstripes this year, and hoping to improve on that 87-win season a year ago, guys.
Yeah, so Chapman, when he comes back, will be the closer again. Andrew Miller will assume that role until Chapman's suspension is over with. But when they do have that full boat of relievers, it is going to shorten the game, much like it used to shorten the game when Mariano Rivera was the closer of the Yankees. 0-2 pitch coming. Just a bit outside, 1-2. I think the thing that always strikes me about the American League East, you better be able to score runs. I mean, the bullpen is great and everything like that, but you got to be able to score runs.
Especially in some of those parks.
Yep. Foul. Blue Jays 93 wins last year. The Orioles have improved their roster. The Rays, somehow they're always around 500. I can't expect the Red Sox to be at 78 wins again this year. Fly ball to shallow center field. Odubel sees it and makes the catch, 2 away.
First ball in the air today.
First one.
Morton really with a crossfire.
Yeah.
He really did mimic the windup of Roy Halladay, but now when he goes back, his take back, more of a lateral movement with his left foot.
I could see a little of it, but right there, that's different over his head.
Definitely is. And then
his head with his glove like that.
Striding across his body,
Yep.
which is very uncomfortable if you're a right-handed hitter.
Particularly if you have that movement, too.
Yeah.
Change up there. You talked to Chooch before the ballgame. Chooch is pretty happy with Charlie Morton.
Very excited about him. You can see him move his sidestep. I'm personally not a huge fan of that because I'd like all the momentum going towards the catcher. But as long as you gather yourself at the top when you lift your leg, you should be fine. But Chooch was very, very excited about. I said, Chooch, anyone in particular stand out? He said, well, I've only caught them one game. I said, how about bullpens? He said, Oberholzer, Morton, and Velasquez. The 3 names that really just jumped out. And again, that's why you as a catcher have to go around and catch all these guys. Because when they come to a ball game, you got to know what makes them tick.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Off the hands, out of play, heading toward the press box.
This little cutter there by Morton. Pitch at 89 miles an hour. Ideally, you would want that cutter up, maybe just a hair up on the hands. Right there. Right on cue. Thanks, Charlie. See, this is, and it's, again, same location on the plate, but just up a little bit higher. See that?
Yeah.
Right just above the belt.
There wasn't a whole lot he was going to be able to do with that pitch. It's even 2 balls and 2 strikes to Aaron Hicks over from the Minnesota Twins, where he was one of their top prospects for a long time. Swing and a miss. He got it with a changeup. First strikeout of the day for Charlie Morton. 6 up, 6 down. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Padres. The opening night T-shirt, compliments of McDonald's, will be given out to fans 15 and older. It's also a Hatfield $1 dog night. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Well, we start the bottom of the second, and a much different Maikel Franco than what we've seen the last couple of years will be the batter. Franco battling for a spot on the roster the last couple of years. Didn't always have the best numbers in the spring, but he leads the Grapefruit League with 6 RBIs so far, hitting .364 through the first 4 games. Played in 80 games a season ago before going down with that wrist injury, which turned out to be a fracture to the wrist. And the week that were the 3 games we spent in New York, those were probably his best 3 games. I mean, he just went off. He had a 5 RBI day the one afternoon, or the one ball game, a couple home runs. I mean, that's when you sat there and said, okay, he's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, that was a good couple months for me. You're right there. That was one special series that he had.
1-2 the pitch. Chopper foul. Went on to hit 14 home runs at 50 runs batted in before the injury.
Just him being out of the lineup, though. We saw that the Phillies offense really have some struggles for extended periods without him in the lineup.
But just missed.
He thought about it. Way low, Tom.
It's that one foul. That month of June, which was part of the Yankee series, he had .352 with 8 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Well, that was a season's worth of numbers.
Yes. But again, we talked about it in the open. Who's going to be able to provide him some protection in the lineup?
Off the hands, out toward left center field. On the run is Adams. He's not going to get it. He'll be able to flag it down, fortunately for Adams, on the dive. And Maikel Franco is aboard with a leadoff single.
Ball gets in on Maikel, but strong enough to fist it to the outfield. Not recommended to do that in the outfield.
What, to dive
to
and then stab at it like that?
Ball gets by him. That's easy 3.
Here is Stassi. Stassi hitting .429 so far this spring. Talked about it the other day. He got a chance to play in the same game that his brother Max was in. His brother Max, a backup catcher for the Astros. We mentioned his mom and dad were here, Jim and Raquel, and Jim said after the game, he said it's kind of a culmination of all those years of coaching and throwing. Two balls and no strikes. Well, Ben, you're celebrating a birthday this week, and today, tucked in the corner there, not the Fanatic, is Scott Franzke, who will not show his face to the camera. I'm not sure why, but Larry seems awfully happy. And today, Scott is celebrating his 44th birthday. There's a cake that is there that his lovely wife Lori has sent down for him. So we'll just trust us. Scott is there, but the Fanatic is delivering his birthday wishes.
Happy birthday, Scott.
Unless Scott's in the Fanatic costume.
You never know. It is spring training, Tom.
3 balls and 1 strike. We appreciate the Philly Fanatic being our delivery person.
Yes.
Scott's birthday cake. That one's hit sharply back toward the middle, a base hit into center field. Back-to-back hits for the Phils, Franco and Stassi. And the Phils have the leadoff batters aboard to begin this second inning.
Boy, I really like this kid. Stassi, we've seen what he can do with his glove, but he is putting up some numbers at the plate. Stays hard back up the middle. A lot of these hitters really don't mind with getting 2 strikes on them. They stay with their approach and driving balls up the middle. I know batting practice doesn't relate. There, he's reaching that. You can see it.
I don't want that piece after
No, I
he
don't.
reached that.
But again, batting practice doesn't relate how well you're going to do in the game. But his BP display today, he's treating this place like an airport. Balls are flying out of here.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. Carlos takes a breaking ball. It's 0-1. Carlos 3 for 9 so far. He does have 4 RBIs. That one's pulled over to third. Well, that's a heck of a play by Refsnyder. He gets 1 at second, and a double play is recorded.
That's not fair.
Refsnyder, who hasn't played third base since college, is making the transition over to third to get some ABs.
This is called knowing your runner. Nothing against Chooch, but not the fleetest of foot. Especially when you hit a ball that hard, you know you're going to have some time. Making the right play to go to second base. And
Yankees are trying to get Refsnyder's bat in their lineup at some point. Obviously, Headley's a switch hitter, but they want him to play in some way, shape, or form. But they have Castro at second now. So they've made the transition to getting him some ground balls, getting him some opportunities over third base. And today is sort of his debut over there. He said the biggest thing was just adjusting to the speed of the ball getting on him. 1 ball, no strikes to Cedric Hunter.
it definitely is a reaction position. You have to react as quickly as you can on a lot of balls.
Breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Cedric Hunter.
That's why I say he will throw any one of those 5 pitches at any time. 2-0 breaking ball. Not what Cedric was looking for.
Well, the other day, Cedric Hunter, a 3-run walk-off home run. Had a double yesterday, but this after the Phillies had a 9-3 lead that they blew, and the Braves were up 11-9.
That ball was touched.
Yeah, it was. And then midseason form, J.P. Crawford dousing Cedric Hunter.
Poor Murph.
Outside, ball 4.
Maybe Tanaka saw that shot that Cedric hit the other day. There were no parts of him. And that game the other day, there was a breaking ball down and in, which he did not check his swing on. Their third base umpire called it a strike on the swing. Next pitch, hanging changeup. I thought he was going to come back with that same breaking ball, but hung a changeup, and he got all of it.
David Lowe has played right field today. He's batting 8th for the Phils. And he fouls that one off over the third base dugout. Tanaka's been at 92 for most of these first couple of innings. That's a good sign. There is bullpen action.
That's just about where we thought he would sit with the velocity. Just when you start to look for something slow, dials it up to 92 again. So that's 3 straight heaters. You just never know with Tanaka. That's what makes him so effective.
Yeah, double digits in wins in his first 2 years in the Yankee uniform. 1 ball and 2 strikes to low. Swing and a miss. Sweeps one in. And the side is retired. Second strikeout for Tanaka. The Phillies leave a couple, and we'll head to the 3rd. And a great giveaway. The Phillies haven't had this kind of giveaway in a few years, but it's the kids pullover, free to fans 14 and under. It's all part of the National Series. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Well, we've taken a step forward here in spring training. Why do you ask, Ben? Have we taken a step forward?
Why have we taken a step forward, Tom?
Because a starting pitcher is working into the 3rd inning. Charlie Morton is working into the 3rd inning here. And he will face Rob Refsnyder to start the top of the 3rd. And that one's a bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. I don't think Tanaka's going to go a 3rd. Anthony Swarzak, who had been warming up in the pen, continues to throw. Swing and a miss. Charlie Morton was a big-time prospect in the Braves organization and was traded to the Pirates. And he was one of the focal points of that trade to Pittsburgh. Out of play down the right field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Refsnyder. Some of the specifics on Charlie Morton, born in Flemington, New Jersey. Phillies gave up David Whitehead for him this past offseason. I think the thought is, and these 2 guys were great guys, Aaron Harang and Jerome Williams, but the thought is that Morton and Jeremy Hellickson, as Refsnyder gets the first hit of the day for the Yankees, that these 2 guys will get the Phillies deeper into more games. Not just 1 game here, 1 game there, but more games. And that was what the goal was when they acquired them.
Definitely. There were some games last year, and no fault to the Phillies starting staff last season, but there were some times where the bullpen had to eat up a lot of innings.
For days in a row.
For days in a row. And those guys were gassed by the end of the year. So you're right. This is definitely some guys that can eat up some innings, get you later in the ball game.
Wayne Adams fires 1 foul. Adams is hitting a clean .400 so far this spring. pulled foul.
Lane Adams not as big as Aaron Judge. I thought they were going to bring Hercules over here.
Well, he's here.
Oh, he is here.
Oh, yeah, he's here. He's actually going to play a little later on.
Oh, he is?
Is that what you call him, Hercules? Do we have to refer to him as Hercules?
No, we don't have to refer to him as that, but between Lane Adams, number 98, and Judge, number 99, that's some big fellers.
Adams last year played 37 games in AAA, 97 games in AA, had 12 home runs in AA. He is out of the Royals organization. That will be out of play. It'll slice over to the right side. He played winter ball in Venezuela this past year. 6'4". He's listed at 190 pounds, but it's time for somebody to update his size.
Forgot a leg.
Quick toss over to first base. Ref Snyder's back.
Sure could go for one of those ground balls, Tom.
Oops. Well, he's at 36 pitches. He could be getting a little weary at this point, although
I believe that was a changeup.
I think it was. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. You go back toward Adams' career, every year, 7 years of minor league baseball, all with the Kansas City Royals. I guess after winning the World Championship, there was probably the thought in his mind that, yeah, they're pretty much set for a few years. They go look somewhere else. Making Morton throw some pitches here.
He is. See, there are a couple clouds right there, Tom.
Well, this is a 9-pitch at bat. This will be number 10. The Phillies will get somebody up in the bullpen. That's Daniel Stumpf, who they picked up in the Rule 5 draft out of the Royals organization. Two balls, 2 strikes. Curveball. Just a bit outside. There was probably the option. I don't know this for sure. Watch this last pitch. Just tailed outside. There was probably this option that Morton could have either started the 3rd or could have shut it down and gone to the bullpen to throw the rest of his pitches. Some guys like one way compared to the other. That's ball 4.
I'll be honest with you, Tom, but the times that a starting pitcher would do that in spring training, they'd come down and I'd catch them down in the bullpen. There wasn't a whole lot of concentration there. You lose that adrenaline rush, and I don't think they're as crisp as you would be pitching in a ball game. So I think they're just going down just to throw some extra pitches. I don't think it really helps them as much as they do during the game.
Well, the number 9 batter is Slade Heathcott. So we got a miss at the first pitch. It's no balls and 1 strike.
Good at bat by Adams.
Yeah, I mean, all those foul balls, he was able to see everything. Heathcott last year hit .267 in AAA in 64 games, couple home runs, 27 runs batted in. He played 17 games with the Yankees because they had a revolving door like a lot of teams. And he did manage 10 hits and 6 runs scored.
And he still gave him number 71.
Well, you know, they don't have as many low numbers as other teams. What number were you with the Yankees?
17.
Huh. Down the left field line toward Murph's vicinity.
I like what Morton did there. The runner's not moving, but Morton still went with the slide step. And what that does is it really screws up the hitter's timing. This is the slide step changeup. He got not really in a good position to hit there.
Runners lead off first and second. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, my run with the Yankees for 2 spring trainings was Posada, me, Johnny Damon, and Jason Giambi.
You had to give
One
you 17
of these things is not like the other. Talk about a lot of commas in their checks. Lots of commas.
Well, the average pay for the 4 of you was probably pretty good.
Yes, the average. It's fun being in that clubhouse, though. You walk around, and I always played, but I was always a fan of the game. And having Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Randy Johnson, these guys walk around, Yogi Berra, Jorge Posada. It was just Bernie Williams. It was just fun. They're all really, really great guys, treated me well. They treated everybody well.
Did Bernie strum the guitar while you were in there?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Always had it with him.
Would you do the triangle?
I was on the bongos, Tom.
1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. 93 on that fastball from Morton. Got him. He went upstairs. 94 on that fastball. Second strikeout for Charlie Morton.
You're right. He climbs the ladder here and just looks so good up there. You just cannot catch up to it. You can see that ball right by him.
Well, that may be it for Charlie Morton. He has reached 50 pitches here this afternoon, which is a little bit more than we thought. Now, there is the signal to the pen by Bob McClure. So 26 pitches in the first 2 innings for Morton, 24 here in the third. He gets his work in. He is responsible for the 2 base runners. But we will see Daniel Stumpf in for the first time here this afternoon. No score. Yankees have a couple of runners here in the top of the third. Place on Sunday, April 17th. It's brought to you by Citizens Bank and the Fanatic Flare Hair Visor, free to kids 14 and under. Tickets can be purchased for that series by going to Phillies.com. Fanatic is making his way around the ballpark here this afternoon. And as we continue here in the third, the Yankees have runners on first and second with 1 man down. And here's Daniel Stumpf. Phillies picked up in the Rule 5 draft this past off season. Daniel Stumpf has never been in major league camp, spring training camp, so this was new to him. just like it is for a lot of young players. He was part of the Royals organization, as we mentioned. Royals made him the 9th round selection in 2012. Last year 5-4 with an ERA of 3.57. How did the Phillies find him? Well, he was in Puerto Rico this past offseason. And although they had him on their list of potential Rule 5 picks as he faces Didi Gregorius, they actually talked to former Phil Hector Mercado, who pitched for the Phils for a couple of years, who was the pitching coach for Stumpf's team down in Puerto Rico. And when they called and asked if he was worth taking a flyer on, he said absolutely. He was 25 years old, and the key was the batting average against for left-handers, 167. And they only allowed 4 extra base hits a year ago to left-handers with 129 plate appearances.
Pretty dominant.
Swing and a miss. That's the breaking pitch that he usually has against lefties, although he sweeps it a little bit more than that one. But this had Gregorius way out front.
It did, and its location is good. The speed was good, but the location was good.
Now, would you throw it a little harder here after getting the last one?
He was so far out in front of that one, I wouldn't add any velocity to it.
There was a fastball, 2-2.
Be a situation there where you're maybe outthinking yourself.
Swing and a miss. He got him.
I think the way he's throwing that breaking ball, why waste a pitch? And this is just filth.
Yes, so you're comfortable with just throw it again.
Yeah, he literally missed that by a foot. Literally.
Well, there's 2 outs. Starlin Castro, who grounded out to shortstop, his only at bat, will stand in.
Just note from an offensive standpoint, when a pitcher would throw me a pitch and I look that silly, you know, you're sitting on it for the next, but then he throws you another pitch, like, oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's true.
Because if I know if he were to throw it again, I would have the same result. I know I'm not like every other hitter. Every other hitter is not like me. Some guys are able to make adjustments pitch to pitch. I wasn't that good.
It's sharply through the hole on the left side of base hit. Rounding third, heading for home is Ref Snyder. The throw to the plate by Hunter tails up the first base line. And the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. Starlin Castro with the RBI single. Second RBI of the spring. They had a chance to get the runner at home, but the throw kind of tailed up the first base line.
It did. Russell, he gets the ball before he even gets to third base. I'm thinking he's got a shot here, but the ball, as you see, just goes up the first base line. No chance for Cheech to put the tag on.
So the Yankees take a 1-0 lead here in the third. Chase Headley, the batter, he'll take a fastball in there for a strike. Headley last year played 156 games at third base for the Yanks. Hit .259 with 11 home runs. They throw behind the runner at first, Starlin Castro. Inside, 3-1. Looped out to right field. And Lowe is right there to make the catch. Side is retired. The run does score. Yankees leave a couple and get a couple base hits. Every Phillies win, get 50% off regular menu price pizzas using the promo code Phillies online at papajohns.com. And by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Last of the third, Anthony Swarzak will be the new pitcher for the Yankees. Former second-round draft pick of the Cleveland Indians. Swarzak last year at an ERA of 3.38. He takes over for Tanaka. The Phillies starter, Charlie Morton, is charged with 1 run, Ben. I thought he actually looked pretty good as you see him signing some autographs.
He looked very, very good. Everything was down. What I really liked was his changeup. There you see it. Down and away. Was able to ride some high, hard heat up in the zone. See him topping out at 94, but the breaking ball was good. Everything was down. For him to be effective to induce those ground balls, obviously, he'd be down in the zone.
All right, before anybody finishes eating, I didn't ask you this in between innings, and I apologize, but I just received a message from Scott Franco.
Okay.
Do you want any birthday cake?
No, I'm not a sweets guy.
I know you're not, but I wanted to ask you.
I'm okay. I'm all right. But thank you for asking, Tom.
You're welcome.
Now, if you get a filet on you.
No balls and 1 strike to Andrew Knapp. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Knapp so far so good. I mean, his swing has looked excellent at the plate, both from the left side and the right side. Just 24 years old. Last year in Double-A in 55 games, he had 360. Couple that with his numbers overall in Clearwater, 308 with 13 home runs for the year. Take advantage of special group opportunities at Citizens Bank Park, including discounts, theme nights, party areas for groups of 25 or more. Plenty of benefits and special options, special fundraising opportunities, and a great way to raise funds and awareness. For more information, go to Phillies.com/group tickets. One away, Cesar Hernandez, who grounded out his first time up, takes a strike. Swarzak is no real run-of-the-mill pitcher. And I say that he was signed as a minor league free agent by the Yankees, but he's not a guy that is unseasoned. I mean, he has 191 major league games under his belt with the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Indians a year ago. With the Twins, he was sort of a combo pitcher. He was a reliever and a starter. With the Indians in the big leagues last year, he was a reliever in 10 games. He spent a lot of last year over in Korea. I probably asked you this before. Did you ever have an opportunity to play in Korea or Japan?
I did not.
They didn't know what they were missing.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch to Hernandez. Sharply to third. Ref Snyder his second opportunity. Well, that does not make a Gold Glover at all by Ref Snyder, but he's had 2 sharply hit baseballs. One of them was when Masahiro Tanaka was out on the mounds.
It was. He had it all going today. I'm sure the Yankees are very happy with the way he threw the ball. Had all 5 pitches going. Very tight slider there, but he was able to get up to 92 with his fastball.
Well, I think he was. The good thing for them is that he was able to sustain 92 at this point. 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. As Galvis takes a strike. Freddie now 1 for 10 this spring.
He's strike after strike after strike. Got to make Joe Girardi happy. No matter what level, Tom, the best pitch in baseball is a
ball strike.
Exactly.
So we get a miss. Another strike and another strikeout. 2 strikeouts in this 3rd inning for Swarzak. We'll move to the top of the 4th here in Clearwater. That's right. You'll get a chance to see them here in spring training, but you'll also get a chance to see them up in Philadelphia on Saturday, April 2nd. It's a 105 game against the Phillies futures. So the Phillies' current roster against some of their stars of tomorrow. It's presented by PGW. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. When you think about it, you can watch on TV guys like J.P. Crawford, guys like Nick Williams, Andrew Knapp, players like that. But this will be a chance for you to see some of those same players in person at Citizens Bank Park with maybe some others that aren't even here in camp, like Cornelius Randolph. Great opportunity. Franco into foul territory and can't get in position to make the catch.
Boy, he went a long way for that ball and was not able to come up with it. The wind really is blowing hard to the right. I thought that ball was going to be well out of play into the stands, and making a long effort and not able to come up with it.
Yeah, just trying to get to the spot would have been good for him, or that area, but once he curled, it just kept on coming down.
Yep. Now they will put the shift on with 1 strike on Dustin Ackley.
Ackley hit into the shift his last time. He hit to Galvis, who was sort of light over at shortstop in a few strides. Now he moves back.
He's a roamer.
He is roaming.
Michael playing pretty much straight up second base.
Two and two as that ball handcuffs Carlos Ruiz. Out to right field. Venturing back is low. 1 away. Well, we certainly enjoy our time down here in Clearwater and the St. Pete area. And each and every year we get a little synopsis of what's going on in this area from folks from the St. Petersburg Clearwater Chamber of Commerce. And our special guest is with Greg Murphy. Murph?
Well, thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, there's almost enough time to tell people just how terrific it is down here at this time of the year and pretty much all year round. Say hello to Leroy Bridges. That's your job, though. You're going to tell us just how good it is. And we celebrate 70 years of a relationship between the Phillies and this area, in particular Clearwater, but the St. Pete Clearwater area. It's a pretty special relationship.
It is. It's always great seeing you guys, the CSN crew, and Murph and Tom, the whole gang, and this Phillies red just kind of invade Clearwater this time of year. We love seeing it. It is a special relationship, and there's plenty of reason. Obviously, beautiful days like this, but also, TripAdvisor just named Clearwater Beach the #1 beach in the country, number 20 in the world. There's a good reason for a lot of you guys to come back down, and we love it.
You know, you look around, it's got to do your heart good to see the ballpark filled the way it is today. Certainly the Yankees in Tampa, that's part of it as well. And, but that's what it's all about. This time of the year up north, the weather can be a little dicey, so why not be down here, right?
You're exactly right. You can't beat it. We love our New Yorkers as well. The Yankees fans, but next weekend in the span of 3 days you can catch a Phillies game here at Bright House Field in Clearwater. You can go check out Jordan Spieth, the world's best golfer arguably, up at Innisbrook for the Valspar Championship, and you can also get down to St. Pete for the IndyCar's opening race of the year. Plenty to do on top of all those white sand beaches too.
And then you can see just how beautiful this area is as we take a look at some of the shots from the Clearwater Beach. As you mentioned, the #1 beach here in Florida. We'll have to figure out how we're going to get to all those events because I think they want us to do some work as well while we're here. But folks back home that are watching on Comcast Sportsnet today, they got a chance to come down here. How can they do that?
Yeah, plenty of opportunity. Opal Sands, a beautiful new resort, Gulf Front Resort, just opened in Clearwater Beach, and you've got a chance to stay there for 4 nights on us, a group of 4. You can enter at liveamplify.com. You can enter every day until the end of the month to increase those chances. It never hurts. And, yeah, this time next year you could be down here on us, really.
Liveamplify.com. That's how you do it. You can, like you said, you can go on and every day you can enter for a chance to get down here. That's a pretty good deal.
It is. For 4 people, round trip air, the hotel, and opportunity to come see the Phillies live here in Clearwater under this beautiful 80-degree weather. It can't be beat.
Yeah, it was nice of you to bring this weather for us today so that we're able to do this and show the people back home just what a terrific place it is. Leroy, thanks for your time. Thanks for the information as well. And we remind folks to log on to liveamplify.com and you get a chance to come down here as well.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the weather.
All right, guys, you are not eligible. I am. You are not. You too. So we'll send it back to you.
I want the car. That we just showed there. There you go. Visit St. Petersburg/Clearwater. Enter for your chance to win a getaway to the award-winning Clearwater Beach at liveamplified.com. And you can always find out what's going on in the St. Pete Clearwater area beyond even baseball by going to visit stpeteclearwater.com. It's a great website and gives you a little idea of not only what Leroy was talking about as Galvis gets to that one and throws out Gary Sanchez. There are 2 outs, and Aaron Hicks is coming up.
There's always a lot of growth down here. But that was a very nice play by Frieri. That's a tough hop. Going back to his left. Helps that the catcher was running, Gary Sanchez, but it was a tough hop. And Frieri did well was keep his glove on the ground. He always works from the ground up on the infield. And that's what he did. He took a tricky hop, able to stab it, and make the throw to first.
It'll bring Aaron Hicks up for the second time. He struck out his first time up. Aaron Hicks over from the Twins, as we mentioned. They sent John Ryan Murphy, their backup catcher, over to Minnesota. And Hicks is battling for a spot in the Yankees outfield, and he's wearing Dave Winfield's number 31, which is the number that he wore in Minnesota, because that was his favorite player. So it just helped out that he's able to carry that over here to New York.
Talk about a big man.
Big man. No balls and 2 strikes.
When he would sit behind home plate in San Diego a lot, always made it a point to go shake his hand. Now, you know, Tom, I got some big mitts on me.
You got big paws.
Shaking Dave Winfield's hand, I'm telling you, his hand would go halfway up your forearm. He's a monster.
No balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt, 1-2. Well, Hicks was a big-time prospect. I don't know if you remember a few years ago. It was on March 7th here in Clearwater. He hit 3 home runs in a game here against the Phillies with the Minnesota Twins. And at that point, I think we all sat there and said, how is he not the starting outfield? Strike 3 calls. A little different story here this afternoon. He's gone down on strikes twice as Stumpf works a 1-2-3 4th inning. Well, these are some of the sights that we have grown so used to coming into Clearwater. It is a beautiful place if you ever get the chance to come visit. It is nothing short of a home run. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. And buy Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, with Ben Davis and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Stairs enjoying an off day today. We will see Matt on Tuesday. Ben is off on Tuesday and Wednesday when you'll be celebrating your birthday.
Next Thursday.
I thought it was this week.
The 10th.
Oh, man, I got to change some things then.
Countdown begins, Tom.
March 10th, not Tuesday. Ball's hit sharply by Herrera at Starlin Castro, and 1 away. Phillies Spring Training Baseball is live with MLB.com at-bat app. Stay connected all spring to radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet. Here's Franco, who singled his first time up.
Phillies with just a couple hits, but a lot of balls hit hard today. Chooch hit a double play. Ball was smoked. That ball Herrera just hit was smoked. Cesar Hernandez blistered one to third base. So despite only having the 2 hits and no runs, they are hitting the ball sharply.
Ball 1 strike to Franco. 2-1. Anthony Swarzak is the second pitcher used by the Yankees here this afternoon.
Michael can look for something hard out over the plate.
That should find its way back to the seats. Three balls and 2 strikes.
Careful, Pete.
Sanchez did not realize there was that net right there. Pete fortunately took his pen off that net before it was a collision. I think one of the things that we've seen from Franco so far this spring, it's early obviously, but when he's in hitters counts and he's getting himself into hitters counts, he's not missing those pitches.
No.
Not that he was, if you look at some of his minor league numbers, he wasn't missing it. But, early on, a couple of years ago, he was missing those pitches here in the spring. He was trying to do a little bit too much.
I think that just comes with maturity.
Up the third base side, that's a foul ball. Late call by the third base umpire. Franco's on his way to second. He doesn't realize it.
It's a late call, wasn't it?
That was a very late call from Tom Hallion. It is his call because it got past the bag. But right there, he still hasn't made the call. Now he does.
And Michael does the right thing in running that ball out. You never know.
Here's Tom.
Staying alive. Full count slider at 87 miles an hour. Good job just getting a piece of the bat on it.
Out to center field. On the run is Heathcott. And now he comes trotting back in. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. And here's Stassi, who will come for the second time.
Pitches up may have helped him out a little bit. Definitely ball 4 there. It's okay to be aggressive. Now, if anything, I would like to see Michael go at that pitch. If he's going to swing at it, go at it with your hands. You can't change your eye level. Body stays the same. You stay on the same plane. To go up and get that ball, you have to go up and get it with your hands, not with your body.
Now, would you try to go the other way with that kind of a pitch?
Yes, ideally. Let that pitch travel a little bit, but go at it with your hands. Start elevating your head or your body, the ball's going to jump on you.
Stassi had a nice swing his last time up, a single up the middle. He is now 3 for 6 so far, first few days of spring. Spent the offseason, we mentioned this the other day, in winter ball. He played 13 games in Venezuela and then played 4 games in Puerto Rico. He was just a bit out front of that pitch. And Ackley puts it away. Side is retired. 7 in a row retired by Yankees pitching. We'll move to the 5th inning. 1-0 Yanks. in Miami. Can the Sixers defense stand up to Dwayne Wade and the Heat? Sixers at Heat. Total coverage starts tonight at 5:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. My man Ala Abdelnaby is finishing up his first year as the new color commentator for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Does a great job.
He's the best. He and Mark Zumoff and Molly will have all the action for you. Dubre Ramos will be the new pitcher for the Phillies. Dubre. Gotta say it quick. The emphasis is on the first syllable. Dubre.
Yeah.
We're trying. He'll face the bottom of the Yankees order: Ref Snyder, Lane Adams, and Slade Heathcott. Just the one run that is scored today. That was in the third by the Yankees. Daniel Stumpf goes an inning and 2/3.
I liked what I saw out of him today.
I tell you,
I really liked it.
I totally agree with you on that. Particularly if he's going to be a left-handed specialist, but he's got enough fastball that he can face lefties and righties.
He does, and especially if he's able to get that fastball in on righties. We saw what he could do with that breaking ball. You double up that breaking ball with that heater in, you're thinking, okay, I got to get to it because he's got some hair on that heater, and then he drops it back foot. You're gonna swing over top of it. I really liked what I saw. Mixed in a few changeups.
Yeah, there's some funkiness to his motion too,
Yes.
kind of like the way Jake's was, Diekman's
Yes.
was. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ref Snyder. Outside, Ref Snyder. Last time up, singled and scored. He led off the third with a base hit. Inside, ball 4. Well, let's take a look at what Daniel Stumpf did here this afternoon. He did allow an inherited runner to cross the plate, but beyond that, couple strikeouts in his first outing for the Phillies.
He did it with the breaking ball, did it with the fastball. There's paint down and away. And for never being in big league camp, it seems like he's handling his emotions pretty darn good. Obviously, you want to impress, but you have to do it in a way where you're not overextending yourself. You have to stay within yourself.
Here's Lane Adams. Now, Adams had a key at bat in that third inning. It was an 11 pitch at bat against Charlie Morton. He worked out a walk. That gave the Yankees 2 runners to start the inning. They eventually just scored the 1 run.
Well, I know this right here is not pleasing Pete McCann. Pete and I talked the other day. Relievers have to come in and throw strikes. You have to, as a reliever.
Yeah, he's impressed as anybody is with 96, 97, 98. But when you're not locating it,
yeah,
he doesn't think it's as worth it as it.
There's no room for it in the big leagues. Really, there's no room for it in all of baseball. But we know he's not out there deliberately trying to throw balls. But if you want a shot, you have to come out of that bullpen throwing strikes.
And in reality, there is a shot to be had if you're coming into the Phillies bullpen this year. And it's partly because of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Runner goes, pitches a strike, throw to second base by Ruiz, and hits the runner and kicks out to shallow left center field. It'll be a stolen base for Ref Snyder.
Good exchange there by Chooch. Very quick to his feet. Good pitch to throw on. Follows through. Ref Snyder just slides right into the ball. That base was stolen on. Dubre Ramos. Not Chooch. That was pretty much textbook form there by Chooch.
But now he's going to go out and talk to Ramos. We mentioned this the other day. Ramos started his professional career with the St. Louis Cardinals as a 17-year-old in Venezuela, but then did not play professionally with organized baseball teams the next couple of years, but he did play in a couple of independent league teams, where the Phillies signed him in 2013 and sent them to their team in Venezuela for a couple of seasons. Runner goes to third, pitches a ball. Same thing, Ramos.
Yeah, that's why Chooch didn't even throw it. Michael did a good thing there as well, not even covering. He didn't want to give up his position in case Lane does pull that ball, but Michael just throws his hands up. Hey, don't throw it. It's not worth it. You see there, that jump is, you know, Chooch had a howitzer behind the plate. No chance there at third.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, and you mentioned the fact that, you know, these walks bother Pete, and they'll bother any manager. But the other day, it really came to life how much it was bothered. 8 walks by the bullpen the other day. Now you're looking at a bullpen that's a little different than a game situation, when you have a lot of relievers, but still 8 walks. And now already 2 here in the 5th.
I think that some of these relievers, they do realize that there's an opportunity for them to possibly make this ball club. I think they're going at it a bit wrong in the fact that they're overdoing it. They're going hard, hard, hard. I think they're trying to go so hard they're throwing themselves, they're struggling with release points and things of that nature. They're going at it, you know, you still have to stay within yourself.
Slade Heathcott struck out his first time up. Play by Ruiz.
Again, textbook by Chooch.
Runner goes from first. Pitch is taken for a strike. Throw to second base, and he is out. He slid past the bag. Adams did. It'll go down as a caught stealing.
You know, probably the jump was so good. You know, maybe a ball Chooch could have eaten. But this is just an absolute epidemic. If I were a manager, it would drive me bonkers. Start your slide earlier.
Yeah, he was late. It was really a late slide. That slider's over. It's 1-2. There are teams, I don't know if people went to MLB.com over the last several weeks while spring training was getting underway. They are working on sliding doors. I mean, they do that often, I would think.
Exactly. I talked to Pete, and we had our meeting the other day.
Ruiz will throw him out, finish off the strikeout.
But we had our meeting. I said, first of all, it was nice to see how hard the Phillies players were going through the drills. The outfielders coming up, firing every time, not being lackadaisical with their throw, hitting the runoff, the cutoff guys. Chooch, another good job of smothering that ball, not letting it get through the 5-hole. See how it gets over top and just deadens it. But in the fact that I said, Pete, it's nice to see the guys sliding. I said, guys don't know how to slide anymore. And he said, you are right on with that.
It is an epidemic.
They don't know how to slide.
Well, let's see if Ramos can get through this inning. There's one more out.
Again, I wasn't very fast, but I could slide both cheeks, both sides of the bag. You know, and that's something my dad said. It would be raining out. Go outside. Go put a pair of sweatpants on and go slide out back.
Really?
Mom wasn't very happy when she had to do the laundry. But I was able to slide, and, you know, if I needed to get a pinky in there or whatever, I was able to do that.
That was James Pazos, who was warming up at the pen for the Yanks. 2 balls and no strikes to Didi Gregorius, who is 0 for 2 today, ground out and a strikeout. Shoot gallery down there in the seats after all these foul balls today. So Ramos has enough fastball. There's no question about that. Greg Burke warming up in the pen. Murph, did you stop and talk to Greg Burke before he went out to warm up in the bullpen today like you did the other day?
Well, I didn't talk to him today, but I did have a nice conversation with him before his last outing.
I thought it was going to be a
South Jersey guy.
I thought it was going to be a current thing.
We're going to talk every day?
Yeah.
Well, we did fist pound. I don't know if that means anything. Hopefully we'll have a conversation with Greg after he's out of baseball. That's what I can promise you.
All right, son.
That's
a walk for Gregorius. Well, the Yankees have certainly had success during the history of their franchise, but since 2008, that's a list the Phillies were on up until the last couple of years. The Yankees, though, have the highest winning percentage among teams in the big leagues. Cardinals and the Dodgers, the two National League teams. I always marvel at the Rays, the fact that they are, among the best winning percentages during that period of time.
Under the radar.
At 80 and 82 last year, which I think people were surprised about. I don't know if you can ever be surprised with what they do anymore.
You find ways.
Starlin Castro has an RBI single today. He's 1 for 2. Also grounded out to short. Fastball way outside.
Starlin not able to wear his customary number 13 as he had with the Cubbies. Another fella for the Yankees that wears that number.
Who had a long home run the other day against the Phils.
Yes.
Alex Rodriguez. That one is looped back of first base. Stassi on the run. He can't get there. It's a foul ball. That's no man's land. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Like a long dart out there in the right field. Bermuda Triangle there. Nothing Stassi could do.
Try to get him to go fishing after that breaking pitch. It's now 2-2. And not a good split for Ramos in this outing. 25 pitches, 15 out of the strike zone.
And he still has a chance to get out of this unscathed.
Yeah. Castro trying to protect. Maybe helped him out a little bit there. Fly ball, shallow right field. David Lowe will dance around and make the catch. Side is retired. No runs, no hits, but 3 men left. 3 walks by Ramos. Well, the Philly Fanatics shoot off some hot dogs in between innings as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Let's take a look at our summary for this afternoon's ball game. Not a whole lot of offense. Both starters were solid. Charlie Morton, 1 earned run in 2 1/3. Masahiro Tanaka, 2 innings and 1 hit, no runs. Rob Refsnyder's had a busy day over third base defensively, but he's also been on base a couple of times for the Yankees. So now as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, left-hander James Pazos will be the new pitcher. 27 games last year. He had 3 saves. He was in Scranton for 21 of those games. Ruiz sends one out toward right center field, and it's tracked down by Heathcote.
Another ball hit hard.
And 1 away for Cedric Hunter. Did you go over to the radio booth and confer with Larry about the sliding?
I did. He was not in there, but Scott told me that.
Well, where
he
was
talked at length about how guys cannot slide anymore.
Cedric Hunter takes a fastball way outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Hunter today walked his only time up. Open action for the Yankees. Chad Green. That's a fair ball.
It is. It's going to go down as a 2 unassisted.
Now the ball hit the ground, but it doesn't matter if you make contact with it. It'll be 2 unassisted, 2 away.
Guerrero hit a double though.
Vladimir Guerrero was always known to do that, or he would not. I don't know if he intentionally did it, but he had great hand-eye coordination where the ball would skip sometimes at the plate and he'd hit it.
There's actually a clip of Ichiro Suzuki doing it in Japan, getting a hit. Fair ball.
Good job by Sanchez, the catcher, to realize. I mean, he reacted immediately.
See Cedric, just nothing you can do. It's a shame.
David Lowe struck out his first time up.
76 is sunny. We got vanilla, we got chocolate, we got twist.
Way inside, 2-0. Lowe's average of 250 this spring. Phillies picked him up late in this offseason. Add a little depth to the outfield. Three and 0. I thought maybe he'd get a green light there, honestly. 3-0. Might sit on a fastball.
Oh, he's going to get it again.
Yeah.
Let's see him get one up in this wind.
Strike 2. This is a great sight to see this place packed the way it is here this afternoon. Concourse is loaded up with folks. Ooh, inside, ball 4. And that'll bring Andrew Knapp to the plate. Knapp will bat right-handed with the lefty out on the mound. Knapp first time up, struck out. At this point in spring training, I mean, we're a week into games. You were a switch hitter. I mean, how hard is it to get both sides of the plate rocking and rolling?
For me, it wasn't that hard. I just, honestly, I've really never once in my career felt so much better from one side than I did from the other.
But would you agree that most guys who are switch hitters do feel from time to time better from one side to the other?
I would say so, just because, especially from the left-handed side, because there's so many more righties that you face. So I always felt like I had a little bit more pop from the right side. I just didn't hit nearly enough against lefties.
1 ball and no strikes to Knapp, who has a hit from the right side and the left side this spring. In the dirt, off the shoulder of Sanchez. Low runs well. He'll get to second. That'll be a wild pitch.
Intentional grounding, isn't it? I'll say it for Gary Sanchez. Ow!
Yeah, this trip out to the mound is to talk.
Right off his right shoulder.
Yeah, it's
and
to talk to the pitcher.
He wears the flat, but nothing helping that out.
Saw his arm, though. He does have a strong arm. He's out talking to the pitcher. Now, that's to have a conversation with the runner at second base, but it's also to buy himself a little time after that ball hit him.
Yeah, I don't miss that.
2-0 to Knapp. Cesar Hernandez waits on deck.
Let me make this 2-out walk hurt. Knapp's set up from both sides. He's a little bit more open from the left side than he is. He's a little bit pretty much squared away with his feet in his initial stance. But very similar from both sides. He's just a little bit more open on that left side.
I don't know how you maintain the bat speed from both sides sometimes, you know.
You just take twice as many swings.
It's low ball 4. So both relievers this last inning are struggling with command. And Cesar Hernandez, the batter. Edubre Ramos struggling for the Phils. Joe Girardi watching the 2 outs. Pazos struggling a little bit here.
My dad always said, my brother and I are both switch hitters, just the 2 of us in the family, but he said it's like having 4 hitters. You have to go out and throw batting practice.
Boy, his arm must have been hanging.
There are many nights.
Bullpen action for the Yankees. We mentioned before that Green was warming up, but Brandon Pinder has started to throw as well. Cesar's grounded out twice.
You see what it does to the pace of the game, too.
Oh, absolutely.
All these balls, you're moving along okay, and then all of a sudden you have a couple guys coming in, not throwing a ton of strikes. The pace just almost stops.
I mean, we're in the business of getting a chance to watch as much baseball as possible.
Yes.
But when you talk about pace of play, there is a lull. We watched it the other day on Friday. I mean, it just stalled on Friday. A lot of thinking going on out there on the mound. Out to right field. But the balls, as you mentioned, hit hard here this afternoon, but the Phils still nothing to show for it. Just 2 hits through the first 5 innings. Burke is warming up out on the mound for the Phillies. And obviously the Phillies are hoping that they will be as healthy as possible as the first week of the spring training comes to a close. And speaking of health, it was nice to see Cody Ashley out taking some fly balls this afternoon. Murph?
It certainly was. And yeah, that's been a big topic of conversation. Tom was just talking about the health of the ball club. And one of the guys that we're watching is you, of course. How are you feeling? You've got that a little bit of the oblique strain, and I know you've been able to get some work in the recent days.
Yeah, the last week has been good as far as progress. The oblique's just tough because it's just one of those things you can't really gut through. You can't really play through. You just got to let it heal. You know, it feels like it's been a million years. Just getting anxious to get back out on the field for sure.
Yeah, I know. You know, we talk in the off season, and you guys, you in particular, are very anxious to get back out here and you know, get back at it, because I know that last year probably felt a little incomplete for you, and so you want to get down here and start your work. So frustration for sure, but before you got the injury, how did you think things were going?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm probably so upset when it happened, just because I came into spring training and felt, you know, probably about as comfortable as I could with my swing. You know, more comfortable than I had in the past couple years. And I just had a good clear mind of, you know, what I wanted to accomplish, and you know, kind of had to take a step backwards. Now I get to spend a lot more time in the cold tub.
Yeah. Well, take us through what it is that you wanted to accomplish and that you want to accomplish when you get back out on the field. Obviously, you know, back in the outfield, fighting for that job. Yeah,
you know, I just wanted to just keep proving myself to the coaching staff. You know, I've spoken to them, and I know they have all the confidence in me, and you know, it's really time for me to show them and back them up. And their viewpoint of me. So really just go out there and show them that I can be the everyday player that they think I can be.
What did you learn last year through the different trials and tribulations that you did have?
Stay confident. Stay confident. Stay confident. It's tough at times, really tough. You can get down on yourself, and you know you're going to fail for sure. You know, I've learned that time over. You know, my first 2.5 years in the big leagues, but you know, I think I did well at handling it. You just kind of learn a lot about yourself and who you are as a person, and you know, I think I'm pretty confident in who I am and how I can approach situations and how I can get through different things.
I asked you how your off season was, and you said it was short. Did it really seem to go quickly for you?
It always does. I don't know why. I thought I even stayed home longer, but I think the days at home doing nothing, they go by quicker than the days when you're at the ballpark. So. 1 week seems like it goes by in a day.
It certainly does. Fair to say we'll get to see you back out there pretty soon, you think?
Yeah. You know, hopefully if everything keeps progressing as it should, you know, we'll shoot for sometime next week.
All right, Cody, thanks for your time. Always appreciate it. Guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you for that. We appreciate that very much. We'll keep an eye on Cody. That's Gabriel Lino, who is behind the plate for the Phils. And Greg Burke, as we mentioned, the new pitcher. He is the first two batters out. Burke pitched well the other day. In his first outing for the Phillies. Here's Gary Sanchez with 2 men down at the top of the 6th inning. Sanchez takes a strike. It's 0-1. Phillies are hoping to have some news, hopefully the next day or so, on Aaron Altair, who hurt his wrist the other day, diving for a ball out in the outfield. Hasn't played since. He was considered day-to-day.
Kind of awkward the way he fell the other day. Kind of rolled. Looks like you would roll your ankle. Rolled his wrist in a similar fashion.
1 ball and 1 strike to Sanchez, who has flied out and is hit by a pitch here and grounded out.
Day's not getting any better for him, is it? I know that was a breaking ball, but
right shoulder, left leg.
A rough go of it. One of these frisbees that just kind of gets away from Burke. Right off the quad.
Yankees have brought 5 catchers with them on their roster. But Davidson Romero is going to be the pinch runner. Not one of the catchers that has been brought over.
Time to conserve the other ones?
I guess so. The ball's pulled foul by Aaron Hicks. And it's 0-1. Hicks is 0 for 2. He has struck out both times. Up, once looking, once swinging.
I believe that ball hit Gene Monahan, longtime trainer of the Yankees. I could be wrong, but it looks like it glanced off him down there.
Left side, and Freddie Galvis and Franco are there, and Galvis makes the call, makes the catch. Side is retired. No runs, no hits, and one man left. Another good inning for Greg Burke. Exclusive sit down with Phillies new manager Pete Mackanin. Watch Phillies Focus, presented by Acme, Monday night at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll move to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Chad Green will take over on the mounds. Green last year at Double-A Erie was 5-14 with an ERA of 3.93. And he is on to face Freddie Galvis as we start the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-0 Yankees. The 1 run scored in the 3rd for New York. Galvis is 0 for 2. First pitch is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Ground ball to first, and that takes a bad hop, and that'll be a base hit for Freddie Galvis. He holds up at first. Romero had no chance to track that one down. Whoop. He had it all sized up and ready to go.
He took the jab step back. I thought he should have gone and taken that on the short hop and a little bit more aggressive to come get that.
Manuel Burris will come on to pinch run for Freddie Galvis, who's done after 3 at-bats. So Burris will stay in the game. I'll assume to play shortstop, but we'll see what the changes are. Odubel Herrera will be the batter. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
What a game we play. All the balls that have been hit hard, and that one goes for a knock.
Line drive toward left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Gamble takes it on a hop. And the Phillies have back-to-back singles to start this 6th inning. And Michael Franco will be the batter.
Well, I like this. Ball pretty much splits the plate. Odubel lines it to left. Lets that ball travel, get deep in the strike zone. And a tremendous bat flip.
All about the bat flip.
That's right.
Franco has a single today. He's also flied to center. In the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Three and 0. What are you doing here? You giving him a blinking green light?
Blinking? Oh, he's going to swing, especially this being his last at bat.
Runners lead off first and second. On the outside corner, 3-1.
Come on, Grady.
Well, am I having some deja vu from the other day when he the 3-1 homer to left, and a similar the 3-0 pitch that was questionable.
Up high, ball 4, and that'll load the bases up. So the Phils have something going here with 2 singles and a walk. As Franco will head to first, Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach for the Yankees, heading out to the mounds. Nina is going to come on to pinch run for Maikel Franco, so his day is done. So Franco leaves with a single and a walk. So Annalise Nina will be the pinch runner, and Brock Stassi will be the batter. By the way, the Yankees have made wholesale changes here this afternoon. Take a look at their scorecard. Probably the most notable of the changes is the fact that Jorge Mateo, one of their big prospects, is at shortstop, and Aaron Judge, who is one of their prime outfield prospects, Ben mentioned him before, is out in right field. Gamble we talked about, Romero at first, Wade is at second base, Torres is at third, and Dustin Fowler is in center field. It'll be Stassi and then Gabriel Lino, who came on to play for Carlos Ruiz.
Who's at third again?
Torres. Stassi takes a strike, 1-1. Brendan Pinder, who was warming before, is up and throwing for the Yankees in the pen. Veteran Austin Romine is behind the plate. Boy, that one ran just a little in tight on Stassi.
Almost like it had a little cut on it. A little late. Stassi just not able to get his arms extended. Pretty swing.
Let's take some good ABs here this afternoon. See the runners leading off all the way around. Burris at third, Herrera at second, and Nina at first base. 3-2 pitch. Out to center field. That's pretty well hit. Fowler going back on it. He's going to track it down. The Phils, though, will tie this game up as Herrera will advance to third. Burris will score. It's a 1-1 game.
Stay within yourself. Stay up the middle. you get a good result. Ball hit very well. Got him in and got him over. Really accomplished 3 things there. So that was very good.
Well, here's Gabriel Lino. Starts him off with the pitch on the inside part of the plate. Something soft.
A lot of 90s out there.
Getting to that point in the game and in the history of the ball club. 5 guys wearing a number in the 90s out on the field for the Yanks. 2 balls and 1 strike. He kind of overpowered him there with a high fastball.
This ball's up. Again, looks so good. Good aggressive swing, but you see him tone that down a little bit. Got to find a way to get Odubel in from third here with less than 2 outs.
Check swing. No swing, says Eric Cooper over at first base. Another 3-2 count.
I don't think this is really all that close. Knob goes forward, but not the bat hit.
But it goes from first, and it's ball 4. And that will load the bases up again. 2 walks issued in this inning.
Austin Romine wanted that one.
We're having a conversation with Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire. Cedric Hunter grounded out in front of the plate his last time up on a check swing on a ball that bounced before it hit the bat. Fly ball left field. Gamble comes running in. Herrera tagging from third. Gamble makes the catch. Here comes Herrera. The throw to the plate is not in time. He got his hand in, and hopefully he's okay. He goes it head first.
Which I don't like.
Gives the Phils a 2-1 lead.
So many things can go wrong. It's like doing a head first into first base. I do like the good aggressive base running here by Juan Samuel and Odubel Herrera. But I don't like that. And you see him shake his hand right away. Throw from left, just a little too much air underneath, but it's the right call. Odubel is right and safe at home. So many things can go wrong.
It's not, and not even as much the hand. I mean, the arm going into the catcher's shin guards at a pretty rapid pace.
And this was a play before these rules were instituted. You see a guy coming in home plate head first. It's your opportunity as a catcher just to bury someone.
All right, so and just so everybody knows, from a rule standpoint, the throw did take the catcher into Romine. Did take the catcher Romine sort of into the baseline. You know, you wonder about whether he gave him a lane to slide.
Right.
One ball, one strike to Lowe. Walked his last time up, struck out his first time. 1-2. So the Phils have the lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The screen remains 2-2 to Lowe. Phillies tomorrow will be on the road before playing the next handful of games here at Bright House Field. Tomorrow they'll be in Bradenton to take on the Pirates. The Pirates then come back here on Tuesday. Orioles home on Wednesday in a split squad game, and the Tigers on Thursday. And Lowe stays alive again. Back toward the middle, and that'll loop into center field, a base hit. Rounding third and heading for home is Nina, and he will score, and the Phils take a 3-1 lead. Third hit of the spring for David Lowe.
Gets in on him a little bit, but again, staying up the middle. So Nina come in and scoring easily.
Joe Girardi out to the mound, and that's going to be it for his right-hander. So Green's afternoon is done. Pinder had been warming up, and we have a pitching change. The Phillies have put 3 runs on the board in this inning. Brandon Pinder's coming on to try to get the last out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll be back right after this. On Twitter and on CSNPhilly.com. Jim's off for a couple of days. Corey Seidman is down here, keeping everybody abreast of the situation back home. Phillies have taken a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Yankees have decided to go to the bullpen here in the 6th. And Andrew Knapp will face Brandon Pinder. Knapp is the 8th man to bat in this inning for the Phillies. Pinder, a former 16th round selection by the Yankees. Last year he pitched in 25 games, all out of the bullpen, an ERA of 2.93. Knapp takes outside, 1 ball or 2 balls and no strikes. Tough pitch.
Caught the top.
In the air to right center field. Andrew Knapp has just hit one toward the gap and out of the ballpark. A 3-run home run. And the Phils have busted it open with a 6-run 6th inning.
Yeah. Pretty swing. And that ball is coming off the bat hot. That pitch is center cut. And the extension. Look at the extension through. The bat stays in that zone. Boy, that's a good-looking swing there, Tom.
Well, Andrew Knapp last year combined to hit 13 home runs in the minor leagues. He's been very impressive offensively during camp so far. And he just adds to that resume with that 3-run home run. Now the Phillies are on top 6-1. Cesar Hernandez hitless in 3 at-bats so far today. 2 balls and no strikes.
Hope everyone on that berm is okay after that. The ball got out there in a hurry.
And ball 4. So Cesar walks. Well, it seems to be an epidemic on the mound as far as the pitching goes and falling behind hitters. Emmanuel Burris, who came on to pinch run for Freddie Galvis earlier this inning after Galvis started the inning with a single. He wound up scoring a run. You want to talk about a guy that has some wheels. Emmanuel Burris can motor. Gets that one foul. It shoots back toward fair territory.
I know a lot has been said about a lot of the prospects on the pitching side that the Phillies have obtained via the trade. I'm seeing a lot from the position players as well. Something I was talking with Mike Schmidt about today, and a lot of good-looking, promising youngsters.
Cesar Hernandez steals that bag easily, and he'll stop at second as the play is backed up. Yeah, I would think that Mike is pretty impressed with Andrew Knapp in the way he swings, and not only because of the home run, but just in general.
The jump there by Caesar.
Austin Romine's throw, even if it was a good one, I don't think had a chance to get him. 1 ball, 1 strike to Burris. Has a couple hits already this spring. Played just 5 games last year in the big leagues. It was the first time he was in the big leagues since 2012. Fly ball center field. Dustin Fowler is under it, makes the catch, and the side is retired. 10 men come to the plate. This is the big swing. Andrew Knapp, a 3-run home run out to the berm in right center field. Is done, and he'll leave with the Phillies on top by 5, 6-1. Nina, who came on to pinch run for Michael Franco, stays in the game at third base. Burris, who came on to pinch run for Galvis, is not in at shortstop. He's at second. There he is. As we start the top of the 7th inning, Greg Burke is sat for a while. He delivers a first pitch strike to Ronald Torres, and it's 0-1. Burke pitched the scoreless 6th inning.
It's a long half inning to sit.
Yeah. There's Roman Quinn, Ben, who's in center field. We'll see him bat in the bottom of the 7th. Pitch a little low as it sweeps down and away.
Four hits, 6 runs. Is that what you had?
4 hits, 6 runs. All 6 runs earned. Strike 3. First strikeout for Burke. And here's Aaron Judge.
Good sweeping breaking ball right there by Burke. Knee buckler. Now batting, number 99, Hercules.
Aaron Judge is just 23 years old. Last year, he combined to hit 20 home runs between AA and AAA. 12 in AA with Trenton, and then 8 in AAA. Almost the same amount of at-bats in games played. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of talk this offseason if the Yankees are going to make some trades, that most people wanted Aaron Judge in those deals, or Mateo, who's at shortstop today. Yankees did not want to give up somebody like Aaron Judge, who has that power potential. I mean, obviously because of his size.
But he's athletic too. That's the thing.
Athletic, yeah. Aaron Judge, 6'7", nearly 270 pounds. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Think he could be a tight end?
I think he'd be whatever he wants in the football field. Size 17 foot. I actually told Tony Clark the other day that I thought he reminded me of him. Three balls and 2 strikes to Judge. Just missed down and away. So a 1-out walk.
Ball's down. Good location, but it's a ball.
Catcher Austin Romine. That'll bring Austin Romine to the plate. Romine has played just 8 games for the Yankees in the big leagues the last couple years. Last year, 92 games in AAA. Hit .260 with 7 home runs. Limited at bats so far here in the spring. One ball and no strikes. Burke is just missing inside. He thought that was a little closer than the home plate umpire Vic Carapazza thought. A high fly ball deep to right center field. Low is going back, and it is off the top of the wall. Quinn plays it well. The throw comes in quickly. Judge to the plate. The throw by Burris is cut off by Stassi. It'll be an RBI double for Austin Romine, and it's a 6-2 ball game. I don't know if Stassi thought that throw was going to go offline or not. I think Lino wanted him to let that one go.
Lino definitely wanted that one to be played through and not cut off, but Roman Quinn, nice job of getting to it, hitting the cutoff man. Burris, very good exchange. You see Lino kind of shrug his shoulders, hang his head there.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have had a chance to get him at the plate. I mean, it looked like it was on line. So Romine gets the RBI. Here's Jorge Mateo. He had a home run in yesterday's exhibition games for the Yankees.
But see what hitting the cutoff men does. That's it for sure double. All day long you're going to get it. Romine's going to get a double. But Roman Quinn plays it to Burris. Chest high. Burris makes the exchange and throw it to Stassi. Keeps the ball low, so Romine doesn't even have the opportunity to get to third base.
Well, and all the thought of, you know, whether you have a play at the plate or not, you're at least putting yourself in position to have a play at the plate.
Yes. And that's the key. Now Burris airs that ball out and throws it way high over Stassi's head. Romine could just walk into third.
1 ball, 1 strike to Mateo, who had 82 stolen bases a year ago in the minor leagues. He did that in 117 games. He's just 20 years old. He won't be 21 until June. Two balls and 2 strikes. 82 stolen bases. You just don't see that anymore.
You can run like the wind blows.
Thank you, Forrest. He hit 278. His on-base percentage 345. It was 374 in high A in Tampa. Broke his bat, looped it out towards center. Quinn's coming on. He won't be able to get to it. Romine is held at third. And that'll put runners on first and third with 1 man down. And the second baseman, Tyler Wade, will be the hitter.
The maple bat exploding there. Looks like this is Burke's inning. Nobody up in the bullpen. 31 pitches in.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that you're going to have to keep an eye on Mateo over at first base. But he may find himself off and running at some point. The Yankees have run a couple of times today, and Burke knows it. Mateo goes, pitches inside. Lino's throw to second, not in time. He had no chance.
No. I like the exchange here by Lino. Catches it. A lot of guys, catchers take a little shuffle step, but he does have that arm strength. Boy, he can run. Lino has that arm strength. We can just pivot on his right foot as opposed to taking a jab step and making the transition. You have that kind of arm strength, you're able to throw a ball like that.
A bit high, and it's 2-0. Wade last year split time between the Florida State League and the Eastern League, where he played for the Trenton Thunder. 98 games in one league, 29 in another. Overall hit 262. He also could steal some bases. He had 33 stolen bases last season. To the right side. That'll get a run home. Burris hustling to get it, and he dropped it. It's now a 6-3 ball game, and the inning is alive with 1 man down and runners on first and third.
It'll be a tough play regardless. Burrs comes up with this ball cleanly. Fowler's really getting down the line. Gets out of the box quickly. He would have had him, but would have been close.
Well, that'll bring Carlos Corcoran to the plate with runners on first and third. So Wade's at first base. Mateo's at third. They have scored that an infield hit. Corcoran popped out to short his last time up. Chase Headley had started the game as the DH. Frieri warming up in the bullpen. One ball and one strike. Maybe the final batter for Burke, with runners on first and third and one man down, and Frieri loosening up in the bullpen.
37 pitches to make his 38th. Again, a long time in between innings. So the Phillies put up a 6th spot.
Corcoran was up in the big leagues with the Houston Astros at one point. Keep watching Mateo over at third base. There's probably a point, and it may have even happened in past games, where there's a throw over to first and he's gone. Check swing and a foul ball. And there remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Corcoran. Phillies scored 6 in their half of the 6th inning. A 3-run home run by Andrew Knapp is what topped off the scoring, but the Yankees have come back and scored 2 here to make it a 6-3 game. And runners on first and third in the top of the 7th inning. Nino probably tried to frame that a little bit. And that's why it wasn't called a strike by the home plate umpire.
It's a good pitch. He just off the plate.
Awfully close. Yeah, just a little off.
Go for strike him out, throw him out here,
yeah,
Tom.
I'm a little surprised that Wade hadn't run before.
We saw him get down the line.
Yeah. Talked about his stolen bases a year ago, more than 30. He's probably off and going here with the count 3-2 with one man down. Runners on first and third. He goes. Pitch is inside, ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Here comes Pete McCannon. He's going to make a pitching change with Dustin Fowler due up. Ernesto Frieri is loosening up in the bullpen for the Phils. So Greg Burke has a very good first inning. He scuffled a little bit with command here in his second inning of work. Threatening in the top of the 7th inning. They've scored a couple runs. Now they've got the bases loaded. And the Phillies will go back to the bullpen. Ernesto Frieri will be the new pitcher, the veteran right-hander. He's going to try to get a double play ball here as he finishes up his warm-up toss. His numbers a season ago for Frieri, a 4.63 earned run average. Phillies have brought in a handful of veteran relief pitchers who are former closers as they look for somebody to fill the void left by the Papelbon trade last year and of course the Ken Giles trade this past offseason. So he's on to face Dustin Fowler. Fowler, 21-year-old out of Dexter, Georgia. He is going to bat for the first time here this afternoon.
Dustin from Dexter.
Dustin from Dexter. Infield is a double play depth. Swing and a miss. The area at 93 miles an hour. Fowler last year hit .298 combined. He also stole 30 bases in the minor leagues. The Yankees are changing their approach a little bit with some of their prospects. '93 and then '92.
Go up there one more time.
Frieri last year spent 22 games in the big leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays. Peeks over at Mateo at third. And the 0-2 pitch. Inside, 1-2.
Bob McClure the other day when we had our meetings, I said, I've noticed that the pitchers are really making a real strong effort to pitch inside. Is that more from a technical? He said, no, it's more of a mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he did say, listen, out over the plate to me, you know, toward the outer edge of the plate is still the way to go. And I do think, as we see a strikeout for Frieri, I do think that he has established that style as a pitching coach. You know, some pitching coaches they established inside, inside, inside.
Yes. That pitch there pretty much center cut. But just throws it right by Fowler.
So now with 2 away, it'll bring Davidson Romero to the plate. He came on as a pinch runner in the 6th inning. Frieri delivers a strike. It's 0-1. Pitch. Romero spent last year in Korea. He had 12 home runs for his Korean team. Spent a little bit of time at the Pirates organization as well before being shipped out. Sometimes guys go over there, they can make a pretty good chunk of change, even if they've never played in the big leagues before.
Love the long ball over there.
0-2 pitch. Got it in on his hands. Hopefully this will do it. Stassi in foul territory makes the catch, and the side is retired. Frieri throwing some strikes. Time to stretch with the Phillies up by 3. They lead the Yankees 6-3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Temperature today went into the low 80s. It's sitting at 76 degrees right now. Slight breeze coming in from left to right. A lot of Phillies fans, of course, making up the majority of this crowd, but a lot of Yankee fans have made their way in from Tampa to watch today's ball game. These two teams faced off in the 2009 World Series, won by the Yankees. Still one of my favorite times during that series was game 1 when Cliff Lee was out on the mound, when he made 2 unbelievably casual plays, and it looked like he was, what do they say, he was in a rocking chair? Yeah. I mean, he just looked as comfortable gets in that 2009 World Series.
Majority of the folks still here today.
Well, we've always said this. We tell this story all the time. When you come to Bright House Field, you know, you get a chance to be at the berm. You can walk all the way around. You can see everything while walking all the way around. But you can also stay after the game for about 2 hours plus at Frenchie's Tiki Bar if you want to. If you don't want to head down to Clearwater Beach right away.
Or if you don't want to sit in traffic for an hour.
Or if you don't want to sit in traffic for a while. New pitcher is Vicente Campos. See his numbers a season ago in the minor leagues. He's facing Roman Quinn, who's up for the first time. Quinn came on to play a little defense, and I think that ball got his hand. So he is hit by a pitch. All right, I think I've cringed a couple of times here today. Not only there, the Herrera slide.
Looks like he didn't pick this ball up. Very delayed, late reaction.
Inside arm?
Yeah, left. Looks like right below his left elbow.
Chris Mudd, one of the Phillies athletic trainers, heading out to check on him. Promised Chris that we'd point out the pullovers the athletic training staff is wearing today.
Sharp-looking top.
Yeah, they felt pretty good about it. Scott Sheridan, Sean Fakasny, Chris Mudd, part of the Major League staff. Annalise Nina is the batter. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Good toss over. Roman Quinn can fly.
He didn't get hit in the leg, did he?
He did not. Upstairs again. Roman thought about tossing up to first. 2 balls and no strikes. Quinn, before his injury last year, stole 29 bases in 58 games. And everybody was concerned because that injury last year, which cost him the end of the season, was a leg injury, but he has come back flying. 3-0. Stassi waits on deck. And he walked him on 4 pitches. So a hit batter and a walk. And the Phillies have 2 on. Well, this game was getting a little dicey in the top of the 7th inning until Ernesto Frieri came on. The Yankees had already scored a couple of runs. And then Frieri was able to find the strike zone. And he did so with his fastball, Ben, but also with a couple breaking pitches.
A couple breaking balls were very good down in the zone. Really needed to put out a fire. Able to get a ball in. Right there on Romero. Pops out to Stassi at first. Fireman.
Well, it looks like he's going to come back out and pitch the top of the 8th inning, at least right now. Somebody may get up when there's an out recorded. Stassi takes strike 1, 0-1. Stassi today is a sac fly. He's popped out and he's singled.
Now, from a selfish standpoint, I wish Quinn would have run early in that count. I wanted to see him run.
Count is 1-2 to Stassi. On the outside corner, and Stassi is down looking. 1 out here in the 7th inning. And Gabriel Lino will come up. Just got the edge.
Yeah, I always think there was some leniency there. Nick Carapaza. Getting a little tired back there.
So now Lino, 22-year-old, who has spent time in AA and AAA last season. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it back. It's 0-1. 22-year-old out of Venezuela will turn 23 in May. Just a couple of at-bats so far this spring, included in that his last one when he walked. They've had a routine going for the last little bit, haven't they?
I went in to visit the Fanatic's best friend, Tom Burgoyne, the other day. He was visiting with Orbit. I went back in their little room and might want to invest in one of those trees you hang in your car.
Uh-oh, we got a problem. One guy went, the other guy didn't. And Roman Quinn is just going to anchor at second base. And Nina is going to be tagged out. Austin Romine saying, I'm not going to let this ball fly. I'm just going to come on out. You've given yourself up. I'm just going to get the put out. I don't know what happened here. I think that, yeah, he thought Roman Quinn went. The lead runner dictates in a double steal, but
yes,
the trail runner needs to make sure he leaves the bag.
Well, usually they have a sign. He grab a pocket or a knee or something, where the lead runner would let him know that, hey, I'm taking off here, or I'm getting a jump. I think I can get a jump. You follow my lead.
Well, Quinn's still at second. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Delino. Chopper left side. High hop. Mateo throws him out, and that'll do it for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, 1 man left in scoring position. Roman Quinn looks okay after getting hit by that pitch. Hanson on top of the dugout. That young lady looks like, well, she's not sure what to do. It's just a great photo to have for her and her fam. We'll go to the top of the 8th inning. The Phillies lead it 6-3. And Frieri will face Ben Gamble. I thought Pete McCadden talked about Frieri. It was kind of interesting the other day. He was talking about his first outing, and that's the giveaway the kids for the Fanatic's birthday, I should say, that young lady's wearing. He was talking about Frieri. He said, you know, he'd given up a couple runs in the college game, but nothing was hit hard. He said you kind of have to look at that this early in spring training with some of the pitchers, particularly a veteran. You know, what kind of at bats are they getting against him? They might be scoring runs, but it might be a ground ball here or a flare there. As Gamble takes low, one ball and 1 strike.
And it was his first outing.
Right. Up the first base line, foul, and it's 1-2. This is the kind of game, and we're not sure if this is the way things were supposed to happen, but this is the kind of game where everybody except for Ramos has worked an inning plus or 2 innings plus, where they've had to make changes within the respective inning. Upstairs, 2-2.
And they still won't be at that part in spring training where you're treating it like a regular season game with the guys in the bullpen, with matchups, things of that nature. Saw Stumpf come in earlier You know, that might be a situation where you have a lefty come in and said, you know what? I want to see Daniel Stumpf pitch against his lefty. I want to see what he can do. That phone rings, you're going to be ready. But we're not quite there yet in spring.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Over toward the hole. Crawford backhands. Quick release, low throw, and it's off the glove of Stassi. Now the base runner for the Yankees here at the top of the 8th inning. Boy, Gamble got up that line pretty good.
All these guys can run. I mean, even if this throw does reach Stassi in the air, most likely would have been out. But you're right, these guys are getting up the line.
All right, so they give him a hit. It's an infield hit. Torres will be the batter, up for the second time. Struck out his only time up. Fouls it away. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Hey, Aaron, you got one more in you, buddy?
Where the Phillies pitching is set up for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, Vincent Velasquez will start in Pittsburgh. And then on Tuesday, when the Phillies face the Pirates here, Adam Morgan will make his first start at Bright House Field after pitching up at Tampa in his first outing. Phillies will see Jonathan Nissan on Tuesday here at Bright House Field. Tomorrow it'll be Jeff Locke. No balls and 1 strike to Torres. And it's 0-2.
See him elevate a fastball here.
I think one of the other storylines for today is that some of the pitchers are having a tough time just putting hitters away, particularly when they go past the first inning of work. I'm not sure if there's any reason why, but hitters are staying alive.
It's almost like they're trying to be too perfect. Getting a whole 0-2, 1-2, you're defensive as a hitter. You don't. That pitch doesn't have to be that perfect when you're that far ahead in the count.
Runner goes from first. Pitch is hit towards short. Crawford forgot the baseball, and everybody is safe. He was trying to hurry the throw to second to try to get 2. And it just spun right off the heel of his glove.
And this is something I'm sure Larry Bowa will make note of. That's still going to be a close play at second base. This late in the ball game, you're up a couple runs, make sure of an out. And that's something that a youngster is going to figure out. I know you always want to get the lead runner. That's a given, and I don't fault him for trying to make that play. But in this situation, 8th inning, you want to make sure you get an out.
And now you've got Aaron Judge, who can tie this game up with 1 swing as Lino boxes that pitch. Now that'll put runners on second and third. I think he just peaked, honestly. He picked his head up almost. Pass ball.
Yeah,
I don't even think he peaked. I think he just dropped it.
He just clanked it. And what that does, it takes the double play out of play. Ooh. Not very often will you see a called strike dropped. You're right, Ty. He may have just taken his eye off it.
In the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike.
See Lino get out and around this baseball. Cuts off that distance. You always want to gain a little bit of ground.
Breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Right pitch at the right time right here.
Yeah, 2-1. I'd like to see that ball be down maybe just a little bit more.
Got him. Hung on to by Lino, the catcher. A foul tip. Second strikeout for Frieri. One away.
And Frieri gets away with one here. That's another hanger. You see Judge kind of pull his head off there.
So now Austin Romine with the infield back. Phillies will try to get it out and allow a run if they get a ground ball. Romine doubled to right center field his first time up. Picked up an RBI with that. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Yankees wearing that number 8 on their sleeve in honor of the late Yogi Berra, who passed away this past off season. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
He was a beauty.
He must have been much bigger than Yogi Berra.
You know, he'd be walking through the clubhouse, and I mean, he couldn't have been any more than 5'5", 5'4", 5'5".
5'4". In the air to left center field. That is well struck. Quinn is going back. It's going to stay in the yard. A 1 hop off the wall. Second double of the day for Romine. It'll drive in 2. And it's a 6-5 ball game. Well, he has 3 RBIs. 1 to right center field, and now a double to left center field.
Ball's supposed to be in and doesn't quite get there. Drives that ball out to left field. Both balls he hit were touched. It's a good looking swing there by Austin Romine.
All right, so that brings Mateo to the plate. Mateo had a broken bat base hit his last time up. Takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
And that's a perfect example of why Crawford needs to just get it out. You know, he'd have 2 outs on the board. Man at second base, still up a run. Or up by 2 runs, I should say.
Phillies will probably get somebody up. 28 pitches now for Frieri. Genmar Gomez is scheduled to pitch here this afternoon.
Good spot. Just not a whole lot you can do with this pitch right here.
3 balls and 1 strike. That's Ben Lively, who's up from the minor league camp. There's been a lot of minor leaguers that have been out there working out these last couple of days. Check swing. And the bases, or excuse me, the runners will be on first and seconds. And that'll bring Wade up, who had an RBI single in his only at bat. I think Bob McClure's heading out. That may be it for Ernesto Frieri. I don't know if Lively's been throwing long enough. We'll see. Bob keeps looking out toward the pen. He probably is just out there buying some time.
He's going to use all 30 seconds, I think.
I was going to say he's going to use it just to get Lively loosened up. These conversations between pitching coaches and managers are supposed to be done within 30 seconds. That's why the clock is running out in the outfield. So Bob McClure is done. Lively continues to warm up in the bullpen for the Phillies. And Tyler Wade will be the hitter. Now, he is a tough guy to double up. Oh, and 1. But he's snapping that ball back. He's not happy with his command right now. And a liner out toward left field. Cedric Hunter is there. That's not the last out. He was coming running in. There are 2 outs. So the tying run at second base, 2 men down. Carlos Corcoran will be the batter.
Good swing, Tyler, that boy.
Corcoran walked his last time up, popped out his first time in the plate.
A funky swing there.
I don't think he saw the ball. Just got a piece of it. May have gotten a piece of Lino too.
Left forearm. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Got that wristband there. May have absorbed a little of it, but not enough.
Not enough. It's never enough.
Way outside. 1 and 2.
37 pitches now. We're getting stretched out, that's for sure.
And a strike 3 called on the outside corner side is retired. 2-run score in the inning for the Yankees. Phillies hanging on to a 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. field as we kind of wind down another afternoon of baseball here in Clearwater. Well, Ernesto Frieri had a couple of bright spots in his outing. His defense didn't help him a little bit, but he still kept maintained his velocity then the whole time.
He maintained his velocity, was able to pitch in very effectively, both to righties and lefties, which I absolutely love, and I think that's something that's been missing from the Phillies pitching staff the last couple of years. Was able to get away with one to Aaron Judge right there, but you talk about some paint. There's some paint by number 41.
So as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, the Yankees will go back to their bullpen. Tyler Webb is the lefty who will come up, and he will face Tyler Goodell, who is making his first appearance. See the numbers in AAA last year for Webb. First pitch is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Tyler Goodell, we saw one of the other Rule 5 draft picks earlier, Daniel Stumpf. He looks strong. Goodell's looked good so far early on in the spring. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Check swing, foul ball.
To me, Tyler looks like one of those guys that, as long as he's content or okay with hitting the ball up the middle to right field, he's going to get pulled crazy. I think he's going to have some success. Just the way his bat is in the zone, the path that he takes to the ball. Like that, that's a good swing. You know, he's not a guy that gets out and around the baseball. He's a little more direct to it.
Bob McClure talking to Ernesto Frieri and Gabriel Lino to their outing today. One thing that struck me about Goodell the first time we met him, and it was this past off season, is just how tall he is. He's much lankier in person than what you've seen on video or what you've watched in other minor league games. And that plays to his advantage. Here's Jenmar Gomez. Yeah, just a bit inside and low. Ball actually never reached the plate. See Goodell's size, 6'4". He's listed at 180. He's 23 years old. That is a mile high.
Get out.
Roma and the catcher has room. Got a fellow catcher over on the other side. A couple of them actually. Joe Girardi and Tony Pena saying, "You got room."
That ball did what they all do. They always come back.
Yeah, which gave him a couple extra steps. So Goodell's retired. Here's Darren Ruff. Darren up for the first time. Swings at the first pitch, hits it foul. And it's 0-1. We did that open the other day where Darren Ruff, we talked about his numbers, his OPS, his numbers against left-handers. You kind of forget how good his numbers were a season ago against lefties.
Walking out with him the other day on Friday. Second time I've seen him personally line out. Almost took the second baseman's head off and walking out. I said, "Yo, this, you know how excitable he is."
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, Ben." I said, "Yo, quit lining out." And he goes, "Yeah." That's all he had.
Well, that's what he did against lefties. 8 home runs, a .371 batting average. His OPS, when you take into consideration at least 100 plate appearances, his OPS was tops among first basemen against left-handers, and he's down looking on strikes, and he knew it. I would not say anything to him today. But
no. Just freezes Darren. It looked more like a curveball from watching it up here, and that looked to be more of a slider.
Sweeping, yeah. Well, here's Andrew Knapp, who had a 3-run home run his last time up. Walked in the 5th inning. Cracks that one toward the hole. Cut off by Torres, the third baseman. And that'll do it for the Phillies here in the 8th inning. Retired in order. On to the 9th. Genmar Gomez will try to finish this off. For the 9th inning, and also coming into the ball game for the first time is Nick Williams. He'll come in to play right field. And the new pitcher for the Phils is right-hander Genmar Gomez. Gomez was excellent for the Phillies last year. His ERA finished a little over 3. There were a couple outings toward the end that lifted it up over 3. He was kind of a revelation for the Phillies last year. You know, he came to camp trying to win a job and spent the entire season with the ball club. And I think the key is for him is to keep the ball down in the strike zone, Ben. And like we've said all along today, just throwing strikes, but keeping the ball down in the strike zone.
And he's been able to do that. At least that's what he did last year. But you're right. He really came on the stage and performed very, very well. I think those numbers did get a little bit inflated, like you said, towards the end of the year.
A little tired arm, maybe, at the end.
He was tired.
Yeah.
And we touched it earlier. A lot of the times these guys just had to eat up too many innings.
Yeah, the bullpen was definitely taxed, and that's why when they talk about some of these guys that are pitching right now here in the spring, they talk about it not only to start the season, but also at some point using them in the season because they did get taxed. The goal is to try to get the starters deeper into the game.
Yeah, and I think with the staff that they have assembled, I think they're going to be able to do that this year.
Well, as we go to the top of the 9th inning, Dustin Fowler will lead it off for the Yankees. Fowler struck out his last time up. And Genmar Gomez is trying to finish this one off. The Phils trying to pick up their 3rd victory of the spring. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. Off the end of the bat, he's going to need a new one. It splintered the top of that bat, and it's 0-2.
Pick me on a winner, Bobby. Okay.
That was on the other day.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, it does seem like it's always on, but it was on.
It should be always on.
The balls and 2 strikes.
Good pitch. See this pitch is, Tom. There's nothing you can do with this pitch. You have to swing. But there's nothing you can do with it. I know it's easier said than done. We can sit up here and say, why did you just do that all the time? but that is such a good. You don't have to run some guy off the plate or throw a high fastball. Just make a good quality pitch like that was.
The 0-2 pitch, way outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the success for Gomez is that sinking action. I mean, the way that ball just sinks down in the strike zone. There's something that he does to it. The way he holds it, the way he's able to get it to release off his fingertips. It's got some movement. Hot shot, base hit. So Fowler's aboard. He's thinking 2, but Williams got to it quickly. A leadoff single here in the 9th inning. So the tying run's aboard.
Tries to run that 2-seamer off the hip of Fowler. Just catches too much plate. Shoots him in the right field.
Well, that'll bring Davidson Romero to the plate. Side view, quick swing. Romero pinch ran in the 6th inning and then popped out in his only at bat. Slice out of play down the right field line. Ball carried pretty good, didn't it? No balls and 1 strike. Swing and a miss. He tied him up. 0-2.
Jomar looking for a ground ball. There's that sinker down and in. Another one of those pitches. If you are able to get your bat on it, unlike Romero was unable to do, very hard not to smother that ball to an infielder.
That's what he hopes to do here, to try to roll 2 with nobody out in the top of the 9th inning. And a strike 3 called. He looked like he may have missed his spot, but it was still over the plate. 1 away here in the 9th inning.
I think he did, and Lino just stabs at it, thinking there's no way I'm going to get this called a strike.
That was a strike.
It was.
Yeah, Lino wanted it outside. He wanted that 2-seamer to run back. And now with 1 away, Ben Gamel will be the batter. He singled and scored his last time up. Phillies saw Charlie Morton go 2 1/3 today. He allowed 1 hit and 1 run. Daniel Stumpf, an inning and 2/3 out of the bullpen. He allowed 1 hit. He looked strong this afternoon. Offensively, Andrew Knapp had the 3-run home run, walked as well. Stassi, the first baseman, had the sacrifice fly and had a couple of good ABs.
Cedric Hunter, sacrifice fly.
Odubel Herrera scoring on that with the head first slide. 2 balls and no strikes. And it's 3-0.
Hungry, Tom.
I'm surprised it took you this long to say it. Chopper back toward the middle. Crawford is there. There's one. Can they turn two? No. We'll have to wait a little longer, Ben. 6-4 on the putout. And there's two away.
JP does a good job here, coming in, attacking the baseball, making a good flip to Burris. Make sure one. Good time to get that lead runner.
Yeah, so now it's down to the final out. Torres will be the hitter. He reached on the error on JP his last time up on a similar play where JP was trying to shovel it to second quickly. That one's hit sharply to Crawford. He's got it. He stays down on it, goes across the diamond in time, and the Phillies have won this afternoon by a final score of 6-5. Genmar Gomez earns the save with a scoreless inning of work. He allows one hit during this ninth inning, but gets the last two batters to hit ground balls to get through the top half of the ninth inning. Well, for the Phillies, it's their third victory of the spring, now 3-3-1. For the Yankees, it's now 2-3. And this is the game-winning hit, our W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
Fastball down the middle. Andrew Knapp does not miss it. Goes up top to right center. That ball was scorched for a 3-run homer, and that is your W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
I think it's safe to say, from an offensive standpoint, Knapp, as young as he is, he's been somewhat unassuming, but has been very comfortable in his efforts during the cage, but also in the handful of games that we've seen as well.
It looks like he belongs, and he's not doing things that he's not capable. He's not trying to do things he's not capable of doing, and I tell you, it's nice to see. And he is down on the field with our very own Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
Very much. Yep, here with Andrew Knapp, and well, it was enough that 3-run homer. You gave the Phils a good cushion, but it was certainly a pitch you didn't miss. It probably felt pretty good to get your first one of the spring.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, you always want to get the first one out of the way. You know, I'm just trying up there and get something good to hit and put a good swing on it. It's still early in the year, but you know, that one fortunately went out.
You know, you're in your first major league camp, and you're kind of just starting to figure things out. But I would imagine that when things like that happen, that it kind of boosts your confidence and gets you feeling like, hey, I belong here.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think sometimes it's easy to question your abilities when you're in your first camp, but something like that happens, it proves you belong here, and it gives you the confidence to go out and play the way you can play.
You spent the offseason playing in the Arizona Fall League. I would imagine that helps you kind of make the move into Clearwater, maybe a little bit fresher than some of the other guys. Is that a fair statement, that maybe you felt like you were able to hit the ground running?
Yeah, sure. I think, there's so much talent in that league. It kind of gave me a little bit of glimpse of what I'm going to get here in spring training. And, I got to work out some kinks. I wasn't playing every day, which was nice, so I got to get in the cage a lot and work on some stuff, so that was good.
And one final question, just your relationship with Carlos. I know you've talked about it a couple times since you've been down here. Having a guy like that in this clubhouse to kind of pick his brain, that's got to be pretty great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I'm just trying to be a sponge and just soak everything in. He's got so much knowledge, and it would be dumb not to pick his brain. He's been here for so long, and he's seen so much stuff and has the experience. So I've just been trying to get as much as I can get.
All right, Andrew, thanks for your time. Big swing today, gets the Phils the win. Guys, we'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. His 3-run home run helps the Phils to a 6-5 victory over the Yankees. We'll be back to Bright House Field right after this.